Hey guys, this is Josh from Midnight Auto Repair coming back to you, staring at an open field, and there's a reason for that. Guys, today we're going to try to improve the lighting on the Silverado because I don't know if you guys saw in the last video, we got it running, we got it moving, but now I got offered by a company to improve my lighting. So guys, when somebody asks me to do that, I don't just swap out bulbs. We're gonna go all in, so stay tuned. Alright, so the company AUXITO reached out to me, and they gave me a challenge. Not so much an offer, but a challenge. So they challenged me to improve my lighting. And well, as you can see, the headlights on this thing have full-on glaucoma going on. So if your truck looks like this, or you guys, everybody knows somebody whose vehicle has just yellowed out headlights, this video is for you. Because I'm not just going to throw a set of bulbs at it. I am going to go through, we're going to refinish these things. But what I'm going to do is I am actually going to show you how bad your lighting is when they look like this. And then we're going to use the stock bulbs, and we're going to show what it's like when these headlights are back to just absolute clarity. And then they were kind enough to send me out some bulbs, and I think y'all are going to like these because they're high beams, so you guys can't yell at me, because the only time you need high beams is when it's wide open. You shouldn't have them on when traffic's coming at you. But they sent me out some bulbs, so bring you in here. They sent me out a set of these 9005s, and these aren't just any 9005 high beam headlight. These things are supposed to be 700% brighter than a halogen bulb. So like I said, I took this as a challenge, where you see down at the end there, it's probably about a good 1/8 of a mile to the road. It's probably almost a little over an 1/8 mile to the light poles down there. So we've got a good long stretch where we can test the differences, and that's what we're going to do. So guys, I'll probably go through and on the table open up this box, show you what all is included in it, and then we'll go from there. But they were also kind enough to give me a code, so if you guys do like what you see, check it out up here. I'll put it up, Midnight Auto, get you 15% off of these if you really enjoy them. But you're about to see them in real-world applications, so stay tuned. All right, guys, so this is the control test. This is, sorry, dome light. That's all I got right now because it's pitch black out. So, control test. All I have are the original headlights and just completely oxidized over. So we're going to do a test, and this is the starting point. So pay attention. Turn out that, and then low beams, high beams. And to be fair, it's not exactly great. Now, this is the problem you run into when headlights are glazed over like that, is that it's actually obstructing the light. Even though light is getting through, when you have a yellow film of oxidation over it, the light's also got to shine through that. It's like if you folks wear eyeglasses and, you know, you get something on your glasses, even though you can see through it, it still obstructs your vision. That's kind of how this is. I don't know if this will zoom in or not. You see how nasty that looks? Now, These are the high beams. This is everything she's got. And unfortunately, we're maybe seeing 100 yards, I would say, out in the distance, or nothing I'd really write home about. So what we're going to do is we are going to pull the headlights out, and I got the Cerakote headlight refinishing system, and we're going to try that out on there, because not so much about the sanding and everything else. Cerakote has a very, very good resin to go over top of them. I've been dying to try it. So guys, stay tuned. Night 2 is going to be same headlights but with clean housings, and then after that we're going to put the AUXITO super bright headlights in there, and we are going to give them a shot, and I guarantee we're going to be able to see further than 100 yards. So stay tuned. All right guys, so we're going to pull these headlights out of this truck. So I'm going to try to do as much of this as I can one-handed, but I'll bring you in on the finer points. On these, you pop out all these push pins. This piece will come off. Then there's a couple of push pins holding the grill piece in. That'll come out. And then you've got a bolt in here, which if your bumper's bent like that, you can kind of get to. If not, you got to pull the inner fender liner out of the way and sneak in there. But I'm going to try to get all the main stuff out of the way real quick. That way you can see what's going on. So hang loose. Alright guys, so I ended up undoing the headlight down here. There's a little bolt inside of there, if you can see it. On the same on the other side. I had it on time warp when I popped all the plastic off and the grill out, but it did not time warp, and I don't think you guys wanted to watch me silently for 10 minutes undoing all the plastics. So mainly this is the idea of showing you how to undo it. I guess I'll give you a walk back through. So this plastic upper cover has got a bunch of push pins in it. Pop them out, you know, use a screwdriver, pull the center out, and then get underneath the lip, pop it out. That'll come off. And then you've got 1, 2, 3, 4 10mm bolts that are in the top of the grill. Those come out, and then you need a pair of needle nose pliers to squeeze these little clips that are in there. I guess I'm going to give you the abridged version of this. So this is what the clip looks like, and yes, I boo-booed and broke one off that I got glued back on, but take that guy there, and if you can, try to grab it with some needle nose pliers from the side, and you'll see it's like that. And then give them a squeeze and pull the grill, and then that'll release that particular tab. You have 6 of those on the grill in total. So on the grill in total, you got 1, 2, 3, 4, and then we've got the 2 uppers here, so 5, and that one I broke off, so 6. Don't be like me, kids, when it comes to that. Take your time and don't try to just pop the upper tab. That's been a public service announcement. Now, to actually undo these headlights. So there are 3 10mm bolts that hold them in. The one on the side I showed you, the one up top here, and then the one in the front. And then after that, the whole headlight will come out. So I'm going to get these out on both sides, and I'll see if I can't wrestle them out one-handed, and we'll go from there. So hang loose. Alright, I got those upper bolts out. Now it should come loose and come right out of here. But shoulda, coulda, woulda. Let's see how it actually works. So there we go. And without breaking anything. Woohoo! Even better. So we're going to push this tab down and we'll pull that tab up, pull it up and out. Same thing with this lower one. Pull that, and then I guess we could have just pulled the main plug, but since we're going to be putting bulbs in it at some point here, show you that. But for now, we have to leave the stock ones there. So we're going to pull up on that push pin on this one here, and let's see if it'll come apart nicely. It doesn't appear like it wants to be super friendly about this. And sometimes you have to go on the back side of a Phillips head or flathead screwdriver and try to assist the tab up over it. And let's see if we can hope that nobody has tried gluing this one back together for any reason. So I've seen that done too, where the clip breaks or won't hold, and then it won't release. And that might be the situation we're in now. So hang loose. I'm gonna wrestle this. I'll be back. But the basic idea is to push this tab down, and it should just pop right out of there. This one is not. So let me wrestle that. Nope, it wasn't glued. It was just really stuck on there. To be fair, both of these headlights have GM part numbers, so I am willing to bet that this thing is still on its original set of headlight lenses. Here, let's see if I can. There we go. You see how that worked before it jumped? That goes in there. You push that, slide it apart, and then now, since it's going to be like 45 degrees outside tonight or colder, I'm going to take these inside, and I guess we're going to have to do them at the kitchen table. So stay tuned, and we're going to do an unboxing of both the AUXITO bulbs and the Cerakote kit, and then we're going to Cerakote and finish the headlights. I'm going to just pop them back in. I'm not going to go through and put the grill back in for the low beam test. We're just putting them together enough to see the light, and then what we're going to do is I'm going to show the AUXITO lights going in, and then this all going back together, and then we'll see how those ultra 700% higher high beams look in this thing. So stay tuned. All right, guys, so what we've got here is I've got both the ceramic Cerakote headlight kit, and I got the AUXITO LED light kit. What we're going to do is we're going to open both these up and just see what's in the box. I will start with the AUXITO, and as you can see, it's still in all of its plastic wrap, so we'll take that and see if I can't use a fingernail and get in there. So they sent me this out, and like I said, it was more of like a dare. Let's get a little more light. So what we got here is the AUXITO LED lights. You know, these are supposed to be 700% brighter than your average halogen high beam, which, like I said before, if you're using high beams, traffic shouldn't be coming at you, so you shouldn't really be causing an issue with that. And these are the 9005, the HB3s. And let's see here, just on the back side, high brightness, easy to install, instantly starts up. It's got a little fan in there to keep them cool. So let's see here, 12 to 24 volts, 6500K, so these are going to be a little on the bluer side of white. So these aren't going to be like a traditional halogen, where they're yellow to maybe like a yellowish white. These are going to be white to almost just a hint of blue. And, you know, obviously operating temperature, 50,000 hour lifespan, made out of aviation aluminum. How do you go wrong with that? Well, let's see what's in here now. So, try to get these two apart. So, what we got? They give you a couple pairs of gloves for an average sized person, which we're gonna say might not quite be this guy, but I appreciate the effort. We have some zip ties, we have some O-rings to try to help everything fit in there, and they give you a little Allen wrench. And reason for that is these headlights have, let's see here, they have a little adjustment ring on the bottom, and if you look really carefully, you'll see there's a little hole right there that the Allen key fits into. That way you can actually adjust the depth of your lights to where the factory halogens were. As you can see, they got a little fan built into the back of them to keep them cool. They got the LED chipset right here in the center where a filament should be. Now, for you guys that have the computer that tells you when your headlights are out, these here will keep your CAN bus from trying to tell you your headlights are out when they're not. So these are kind of nice to have. My Silverado doesn't have them, but it's still going to work just fine. So what we'll do is I'll put these back in the box for now, and then when I am ready for them, I will get them set up, and then we'll show you exactly how bright these things are. So let me pop these in here real quick. Boom, 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 boom. And then, let's see here. The Cerakote Headlight refinishing kit here. This one, I gotta pop open. They give you a bunch of stuff in this. So let's see what the hell they give you. They give you application instructions, updates to the instructions. They give you little sandy sand, and then they give you your different grits of sandpaper. So what we got here, I believe we have 2,000 and 3,000 grit sandpaper here. We have the different steps of the actual stuff. We've got the step 3, which is the actual ceramic coating. They give you a few of these oxidation remover wipes, and lo and behold, they give you rubber gloves. Well, in this case, nitrile, but yeah. So what we'll do is I'll get the lights up on the counter, and then we'll start trying these out and see what the heck happens. Alright guys, so what we got here is got the face of the headlight, and you can see all the oxidation that's shown up on this particular thing. We're going to go with their step 1 on the headlights. Now these ones aren't terrible, so I'm only going to use one wipe pack to see how far it goes. I've been meaning to try these out for a while. I'm not paid on these, on the, like, they didn't give me these the ceramic kit. This is just something I want to try out. Now wear the gloves, because in this case you're dealing with probably a strong solvent of some sort, but what we're going to do is we're going to just go over and wipe these things down just to see how much oxidation comes off of them. And it looks like it does a pretty fair job of cleaning them up with this. But we're not going to stop here. We're going to go the whole 9 yards, and we're actually going to see, you see the yellow coming off on the pad? That's that oxidation starting to wipe itself off of there. So what we're going to do is wipe this down and then give this a moment to dry. And then we will go to step 2. But first, just going to give these a good wipe. So, throw this off to the side. And just so you can see again how yellow the oxidation is that came off of these. So, we're going to stop there for a moment. And we're going to go to step 2. So, hang loose. I'm going to wipe this dry and let it dry for a minute. Then we're going to go to the sandpaper. So, hang loose. Alright guys, so it's now dried off. And you can see it took quite a bit of that off. And it looks pretty good. But we're not going to stop here because that's not the way it's designed. So we're going to go to step 2. So step 2 is going to have a 2000 grit piece of wet sandpaper. And you'll see it's got a little burgundy on the back of it. Like so. And what we're going to do is we're going to get a spritz bottle just filled with water. Wet the surface down and then go over it and just sand off any of the oxidation that is still remaining. And this is just step 1 of this. We're actually going to go to a 3000 grit after this. But right now we're just going to sand through essentially until you feel that there's no resistance left, because the oxidation is going to be picked up as like a drag on the pad, and you want to make sure you keep wetting it to keep the pad clean and keep the surface clean, and just back and forth until, like I say, you're not really feeling any drag on it anymore, which means that the surface will be nice and smooth. As you, I don't know if you guys can see, but starting to build up a milky kind of liquid on the top. That is all the oxidation and just a hint of plastic coming off as you're sanding it. This is just something to pull off all this nastiness. And once we get to a point where you don't really feel any drag on it, we can go to the 3000 grit and really just fine tune this thing up and get it nice and clear. Because then when we go to put the step 3 on it, that's when everything's really just gonna clarify and come out just looking amazing. And I'm only doing this headlight right now because I'm going to show you side by side what these things look like whenever you're done. Because it's quite impressive to have a good refinished headlight and then see what you were working with before. And what we're going to do is I'm leaving the factory high beams in these after the cleaning. I'm going to show you guys what it looks like with a good refinished headlight, how it looks. And then we're going to go to the AUXITOs and we're going to show you how it really can pop afterwards. So I'm going to do this and then I will go to the 3000. I'll show you what it looks like when I'm getting ready to wipe it on. So stay tuned. Alright guys, after the 2000 and 3000, I thought I had that film, but I didn't. So 2000, these headlights were oxidized way worse than they appeared, because somebody had already gone through and done a headlight restoration on them at some point in history. And as I started using the 2000 grit wet sand, you could see runs in clear as you were sanding through. Now, I've learned that 2000, 3000, it'll look milky. It's got some blotchiness in here, but I literally beat that paper to death trying to get through it. I wish they would have given another sheet of each, because these ones were way worse than originally anticipated. But I've gotten to the point now where I'm going to use step 3, and it says to go up and down with 50% overlaps. And whew, man, these really let you know they're there. So we're gonna and it says you're only supposed to do one good coating of this stuff. So I will definitely say they look way better than they did before, because there's the after, and grab the other one here real quick. That's what we were looking at before. So set that down real quick, see if I can get it to actually set. There we go. Good enough. Turn the camera just a little bit so you can see the difference between the two. Now the other one I'm going to do off camera because I'm running out of daylight. But I mean, you can see the world of difference. Imagine what it's like trying to shine light through that versus this. So stay tuned. I'm going to do the other one, and then we're going to see what the factory high beams look like through these at night. So hang loose. Alright guys, so here we are, night 2, same halogen high beams, but through cleaned up headlight housings. So let's start this thing up. Turn on the heat, that way I can clear the windshield as we're talking here. But ain't coming around. You see, the light actually reflects up off of the trees, and it's actually reflecting out further. You see this time how it used to be really clouded over, and now it's really clear. You also don't hear that sandpaper roughness either. See how it's a lot clearer? So these are just the low beams. Let's try the high beams out and see what we really got. Oh, that's a vast improvement. You guys, like I say, you see now, you can actually see the trees, and you can see further out into the field. And it looks a lot better through there. So, let's see here if the windshield is going to clear out or not. It is. So you see, even your vision has been improved, just the simple headlight cleaning. Now what we're going to do is we are going to do the LED the high beams, and I will tell you what, if you want to see something crazy, stay tuned. When we put them in, oh yeah, we should be able. All right guys, so what we got here, I got low beams and high beams from AUXITO. Those ones I purchased on my own just because I got that much faith in them. These ones, they threw to me to give me a let me try them out. So if you guys do like what you see, all of this stuff is available on their website for AUXITO lighting. I'm going to put a link in the description below, and up here I'll put Midnight Auto is the discount code you'll use, and you'll get 15% off your next purchase through them. So what we got here, we got the high beams, which as I showed you earlier in the video, have these really nice CAN bus cancelers in them, so they're kind of designed to go with computer aided systems or on their own. They work just fine. And then the low beams I got just because I wanted to get something that essentially had the same exact factory shape. But the nice thing about these guys is 50,000 hours of lighting. Now, most people say, well, Josh, LED lights, super bright, super annoying. And yes and no. Yes, if they're adjusted completely wrong, because most people, what they do is they go through, like these ones, they're going to set to the factory level, and they're actually designed to be 1-to-1 the filament to the filament in the bulb. These ones, on the other hand, are adjustable. So what you do is you actually pull out the Highbeam bulb from what's in there, set them side by side, and this collar here actually moves. And you can adjust your Highbeam depth as well. And these are well packaged in there. And what you'll do is you'll adjust your chipset to the point where it's centered right about where the filament in the bulb would be. And what it does is, in your housing, keeps that proper depth. That way, as the reflectors are catching everything, it actually disperses the light properly. If you have it too far out, it's not really being focused. And if you have it too far in, it's being focused to the point where it's actually just folding in on itself. So it's actually very, very, very important to have the lights not only adjusted properly in the housing, but to have the headlights aimed properly in the vehicle. That way they're not up high. And that's also you deal with when people have way too bright a light coming at you. It's just very unaimed light, which these are designed not to be. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to flip this housing around. I'm going to get my camera set up, and then I'm going to show you how this all works. So hang loose. Alright, so in this GM housing, we have a low beam and a high beam, which is, on the factory housings at least, is really cool, because if you look in the housing itself, you'll actually see molded into the plastic. Let me see here. It'll tell you H11, and then down below it also says 9005 down here. So it'll actually tell you what kind of bulbs this thing wants. Just for say some reason you can't find it at the parts store or online, or at least walk into the store and know what you're working with. Now, low beams, super simple, barely an inconvenience. Just take that guy, lift up on the tab, slide it off. Then what we'll do is we'll just switch this one out, and we've got just a good old GE Osram in here. Basic low beam, nothing fancy. And what we're going to do is we're going to switch it with the AUXITO low beam. And the nice thing about these is, if you look side by side, I will literally put them side by side in front of the camera here, and you can see, if I can get them leveled up, you'll see exactly where the filament is in the halogen light and where the LED chipset is in the LED light. They're in the same plate, which means the light that comes out of the LED, it's going to be brighter, but it's going to be focused in the same exact spot as what's coming out of the halogen. So you see, 1-to-1, the light sources are the same, and that's what you want. So with this one, nice and easy, we're gonna just pop this guy in here real quick. Boom, done. Easy. And now the big one's going to be this guy here. So we're going to pop out the high beam, and this is where a little bit of math comes into play. So move the housing out of the way real quick. We will grab one of the AUXITO high beams, and what we're going to do is we are going to make sure that we go base plate to base plate, and just make sure that our filament depth is exactly the same. And you can see on this one, it is. You know, it's going to be, let's see here, just for kicks and giggles here. Yep, it's going to be exactly the same. So we don't have to play with this, but if you do, what we have here is this nice little kit they provide with the AUXITO high beams. They'll give you a little bag with some extra O-rings if it doesn't seem to fit in there tightly. Or say you tear one putting it in, at least you got another one. But what you'll do is you'll actually take this high beam and then in here you'll see it's got a little adjustment where you can undo it and move that collar up and down. And what it'll do is it'll actually change the focal point of that LED chipset. And that's really what you want, is you want something that sets exactly where it should. You see? Boom. Now, right in there. So what we're going to do is take that, plug it in, and then boom, Bob's your uncle. They included some zip ties actually in this too. So what we're going to do is we're going to kind of try to constrain all the excess stuff out of the way. And then we're going to put this back in. I'm going to do it on the other headlight bulb, or on the other headlight housing. And then what we'll do is I'll show you them in the vehicle. And then tonight, I'm going to show you both the high beams and the low beams, both in the backyard. And then what I'm going to do is probably find one of the country roads down here just to show you how far this light actually goes. So hang loose. Hopefully you guys have been entertained. This is something different I'm trying, as a little bit more of a product review and promo, but in the end, it helps the channel and it helps you guys. So I figured it's justified, but hang loose. We'll keep going. All right, guys. So I know I lost the footage before, so I'm going to show you now. Easiest way these headlights come in and out. Some guys will try to sneak it in through the back, but once you get over here where the airbox is, that's no bueno. That's not going to happen. Not easily, at least. Easiest way to do these is the grill has a few retaining tabs. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and over here 6. 6 retaining tabs. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4 bolts that hold it in, and the grill has to come out. And then there's this upper shield that has a bunch of push pins in it too. I'll show you that. But what's going on here is the grill's got to come out for the headlights to come out. That's why LEDs on something like this, or Chevy Malibus, or there are a lot of cars now that actually have to have the front bumper cover taken off to have the headlight taken out to replace the bulbs. And when I worked in auto service before, it wasn't uncommon for someone with a Malibu to come in and say, hey, can you put a headlight bulb in? Of course. And then when you look it up and you know that it's got bumper cover that has to come off, they're shocked when it's a couple hundred, maybe even a few $100s to have the headlights replaced. Because, you know, you've got hours worth of shop labor plus the parts, depending on where you're at and what kind of place you're at. You could be looking at between $150 and $300 to have headlights put in a car. So that's why LEDs actually make sense, because of their long lives. But honestly, with these, pop the grill out. We've got 1 bolt here, we got 1 bolt there, and then down in this wee little gap, I'll see if you can see it. Right there is the bolt for the third. Now with that bolt, don't take it all the way out. Just undo it maybe 5 or 6 turns, just to the point where it's loose enough to let the headlight slide out. You don't want to take that out because you don't want to put that thing back in. It is a wonderful time. But let's see here. Let's see how much of this I can actually do one-handed. I am going to grab the grill out of the bed of the truck and see if I can get this thing to line up and pop in. So get that tab lined up, kind of hook it up here, get that tab lined up, get that one lined up, the one below it, one below that, and we should be at a point where all of them snap in. Now the grill is primarily mounted. Then we've got one, two, 3, and there's the 4th. 4 bolts, and now you can kind of see where the washer's going to want to go by where it sat on this grill before. So I'm going to get those tightened in. I'll show you how the top goes on, and then honestly, the job's wrapped up. We've just got to enjoy how much lighting we really have, so hang loose. Alright guys, so grill's bolted back in, and what I did was I actually aligned all the bolts up as close as I could with where they came out. Next, we got our upper plastic shield here, which should just line up and have a bunch of push pins that hold it in. So I always pop a couple in on the outside just to get a good alignment on where it's going to be. And boom, those, and then we'll come over here, push this one down, and try to get it adjusted in. You see it set out in the tailgate for I think about a week now, so it's a little banana shaped. That's no big deal. Soft plastic, straighten right back out. So try to line it up the best I can, and I know before you guys give me a hard time, there are 2 more that are supposed to be up there, but I'll have to go into my box. I have a push pins at home or in the house and see if I got them. If not, I'm not really worried about them. It ain't going nowhere. So, well, I suppose we are all back together. Headlights refinished with Cerakote, lighting by AUXITO. So tonight we'll go through and we'll give these lights a nice test in the exact same spot, and then I'm going to take these out in the street and let you guys actually see what LED lows and highs are like. Like I said, the pros to them are LED lows, especially in a car with a complex front bumper cover, where you have to pull the bumper cover to do anything to one light. If you're going to do something to one light, you might as well switch them both. It's the reason I also did the turn signal lights inside both of these, because while I was in the neighborhood and had them open, it's a perfect time to replace them, because it might be years before I get in there or until the next one burns out bad enough I have to address it. So hang loose, we'll see what we got tonight. I think you'll like it though. Alright guys, so night 3, final night. AUXITO LED headlights, both low and high beam. Let's see what we finally ended up with. So what we're going to do is I'm going to turn on the lights, and boom. Now you're looking at this and you're like, all right, well, they look better, they look whiter. These are just the low beams. You actually see now, when I hit the high beams, you see the trees in the distance. This light is literally making it all the way to the road down at the end. It is bright enough that I would feel comfortable driving at night. So I wanted to bring it in and just show you. So even just looking at the truck from the front, you can see how much whiter the light is and how bright it is. Now let's see if the camera will focus in on that. You see, the light clarity is good. And the other thing is when I turn off the high beams and just let the low beams shine, they're not overly powerful. They're well aimed, so they're not blinding people coming down the road. You know, I mean, they are a properly aimed headlight. But guys, these AUXITO LEDs definitely get my seal of approval. They're good stuff. So if you guys like what you've seen, because I mean, how can you turn that down for low beams? And then, let's see here, if I can reach in, and high beams. How can you turn that down? So if you like what you're seeing here, yet again, I'm going to post a link in the description, and then Midnight Auto is going to be the discount code for that to get 15% off. Guys, this is Josh from Midnight Auto Repair saying, I hope you've enjoyed what I've done. I tried to be a little comprehensive on all the lighting. So if you like what I've done, give me a thumbs up, drop a comment down in the comment section below, because it helps me out as far as the algorithm and all that other fun fancy stuff. But guys, have a wonderful day.